Let's go back to one of our top stories now, the ongoing unrest in Turkey, where protesters have once again returned to Taksim Square. We can join RT's Irina Galushka live from there. Irina, what is the situation like now in Taksim Square?
Well, it's actually rather tense, I have to say. Of course, there's immense police presence all over the city, especially in the Taksim Square area. They're literally on every single corner, in every nook and cranny, there is a policeman or a police officer, and it's riot police, and they're fully prepared. They're actually at this moment lining up along the border of Taksim Square and Gezi Park, and some of the protesters, which by the way have been growing increasingly in number over the past several hours, they're lining up sort of right in front of them. So we're looking at some very serious tension, very, sort of a brewing confrontation at this point. At the same time, right, like just a little bit, several hundred meters away from them, also in Taksim Square, there's a man playing a piano, and there's a huge crowd around him as well. And he's playing some Beatles music from what I can tell. So it's a very bizarre sort of feeling right now on Taksim. Of course, the protests were dispersed yesterday very violently. So a lot of people, ourselves included, are actually expecting to see something very similar. So everybody's kind of on the edge of their seat, and yet there's this very peaceful music also coming from Taksim. So it's really a sight to behold, or even to hear. It's completely unbelievable, and the cheers that you may be hearing are for the piano player in the midst of this chaos ready to happen.
Well, in an attempt to resolve this crisis, we do know that Erdogan has been trying to talk to the protesters, hasn't he? Has anything come of that?
Absolutely not, you can say. First of all, we have to mention the fact that there's word out there in Gezi Park, which is kind of the home of the protest, is that the people who are there at the meeting with Erdogan don't really represent the people who are here on the square or who are out there in the park. And that actually has been the problem from the get-go, is that every time there is a government official meeting with the members of the opposition, people in Gezi say they don't really represent us. Yes, they're members of the acknowledged opposition, but they're not people who have spent hours upon days here in the tents under the open sky protesting or letting their voices be heard. And to end it all, Erdogan really said that anybody who is protesting against his rule, those protests will be over within 24 hours. Now, that was some time ago, so we're really in for an interesting interesting night, I would say, because there's a lot of people out there on the square who are unhappy with Erdogan, and they're obviously letting their opinion be heard, and they're letting it be known. So again, what's going to happen within the next several hours, I guess we can only rule out a peaceful resolution at this point, unfortunately, because it doesn't look like neither the protesters nor the Turkish Prime Minister are ready to back down.
OK, thank you, Irina. That's RT's Irina Galushka live from Turkey.